in the east. There's a mist coming in, like something is brewing, about to begin. Can't put me finger on what lies in store, but I feel what's to happen all happened before. A father, a mother, a daughter, a son. The threads of their lives are all raveling undone. Something is needed to twist them as tight as a string you might use when you're flying a kite. Chim chimani chim chim chari chim charu.
Hurry up, Jane, let's run.
Come back here, you little blighter! You've got to do your lesson!
I can't do my lessons when I'm flying a kite. And you can't make us. You're only our nanny.
Oi! Come here!
Ah, good morning, Bert.
Morning, Miss Lark. And how's little Willoughby today?
Oh, very well, thank you, Bert. Willoughby?
Why, Jove, is that the beauteous Miss Lark I spy on the horizon?
Oh, Admiral.
Morning, Admiral. How's it looking?
Storm warning, so overdue. Clouds gather number 17.
Of all London's byways where I doff me cap, this one's the hardest to find on a map. Cherry Tree Lane, as sweet as a song, but the nannies who come here, they don't stay for long. Chim chimani chim chim chari chim charu.
Katie Nana. Those little beasts have run away from me for the last time.
And you get stuck with the children with no nanny in the house. Me, that too.
I've said my say, Mrs. Brill, and that's all I'll say. Or I'm done with this house forever.
Well, good riddance then. And mind you don't stumble on your way out.
Katie Nana's gone, and is it any wonder? Driven off demented by your children's pranks.
Do you really think I made another blunder? What on earth am I to say to Mr. Banks? George, dear, I'm feeling so bereft, dear. Another nanny's left, dear. Every nanny goes, we're unlucky, I suppose. We are never going to find the perfect nanny.
Nonsense! Precision and order, that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain, whilst I remain the sovereign of Cherry Tree Lane. Coat, the simple truth is you've engaged in 6 nannies in the last 4 months, and they've all been unqualified disasters. A nanny should govern, a nanny should rule. A nanny is a peregrine who suffers no fool. A nanny's a stalwart our children would gain by having such a nanny in Cherry Tree Lane.
Of course, George,
So take control of situations. Show your authority when interviewing staff. You know your roles, they know their stations. Efficiency and forethought cuts the jobs in half. Briefcase?
I thought Katie Nana would be firm with the children. She always looked so cross.
Winifred never confused efficiency with a liver complaint. Umbrella?
If only we could find someone like your old nanny.
I'm afraid that's not realistic, my dear. Few women alive can manage Miss Andrews' standards of efficiency. Besides, we can never afford someone of her caliber.
Precision and order, he wants nothing less.
It's like an army barrack.
Yes, and we're in the mess. No wonder the nannies are driven insane. We're living in a madhouse in Cherry Tree Lane.
Now, Winifred, if you do want to please me...
You know I do, George.
Very well. Then place an advertisement in the Times stating, Jane and Michael Banks require the best possible nanny at the lowest possible wage.
We'd better give them ours before they make another mistake.
I would stress that...
Father, What's that you're holding, dear?
We've written our own advertisement.
What on earth?
Please, George, I think we should hear it.
Now, Winifred, none of your
It
theatrics.
won't hurt to listen.
Wanted a nanny for 2 adorable children.
Adorable. Well, that's debatable, I must say.
If you want choice position, have a cheery disposition, rosy cheeks, no warts.
That's the part I put in.
Play games, all sorts. You must be kind, you must be witty, very sweet and fairly pretty.
Well, of all the
George,
ridiculous...
please, take us on outings, give us treats.
Sing songs, bring sweets. Never be cross or cruel. Never feed us casserole or gruel.
Love us as son and daughter.
And never smell of boiling water. I put that vision too.
If you won't scold and dominate us, we will never give you cause to hate us. We won't hide your spectacles so you can't see.
Put toads in your bed or pepper in your tea.
Hurry, Nanny, many thanks, sincerely, Jane
And Michael begs.
That's quite enough Tommy Rod for one day. Now, will you please go upstairs and let me get to work?
They were only trying to help.
It won't help anyone to make me late. Where's my hat?
George, dear.
Hat!
I thought you put it down here.
Hat!
I'm sure Bull Hat can't simply disappear.
Think they're fun and
nanny.
Aw, there
Does
it
it look
is.
away?
He's brushed it with boot polish.
Precision and order, that's all that I ask. No running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain.
Whilst I remain the sovereign, mind to use the day well.
You remain the
I shall be
sovereign.
home at 6 o'clock sharp.
He remains the sovereign of Cherry Lane. Good morning.
Yes?
I've come in answer to the advertisement.
What advertisement? We haven't placed any advertisement. Not yet.
George and Winifred Banks live here, do they not?
Mr. and Mrs. Banks live here, yes.
And you are looking for a nanny?
Well, I suppose.
Very well then. Now let's see. Play games all sorts, which I most certainly can. Take us on outings, give us treats.
Michael, it's our advertisement.
Rosy cheeks and fairly pretty. Oh, there's no objection on that score, I hope.
Oh, none at all.
I'm glad to hear it.
But, take it up with Mrs. Banks. She handles all that sort of things. Nothing domestic has anything to do with me. Don't forget the references.
I make it rule never to give references.
But I thought it was usual.
A very old-fashioned idea to my mind. The best people never require them now.
Ooh, I see. Well, you will have every third Thursday evening off from 5 until 9.
The best people give every second Wednesday from 6 till late, ma'am, and that is what I shall take.
Ooh. Well, it's all settled then?
As long as I'm satisfied. I'll see the children now, thank you.
Of course.
Wait, I want to
You'll
give
find
my-
they are very nice children, and this is...
Mary Poppins. Jane, don't stare. And close your mouth, Michael. We are not a codfish. Best foot forward. Spit spot.
Mrs. Brill, we have a new nanny.
She passed the interview then.
Or I did.
Very tidy, I must say. Tidier than I was expecting. Who's responsible for that?
Miss Me. I am. I like to keep things neat.
Do you indeed? Well, I look forward to making use of that. If there's one thing I do appreciate, it's a child whose word I can depend on. Who's she when she's at home?
That's Valentine. She's mine.
From the look on her face, I'm not sure she'd agree with you.
She's just a downright don't want to play with her right now.
Treat her like that, and she might not want to play with you. Now, first things first, I always say the proper place to hang a hat is on a hat stand.
But there's nothing in it.
We'd better keep an eye on this one. She's tricky.
Mary Poppins, how did you know what we wanted in a nanny when we made our list?
Your list? I'm not an item in the weekly shop, thank you very much.
How did you come then? It was as if the wind just blew you here.
It did. Now stand over there. Just as I thought. A noisy, mischievous, troublesome little boy.
You're making that up. A noisy, mischievous...
Now you. Thoughtless, short-tempered and untidy.
I don't believe you. Let me see.
By the time the wind has blown the weather vane around, I'll show you if I can. No matter what the circumstance, for one thing I'm renowned. My character is spit, spot, spick, and span.
What about your measurement, Mary Poppins?
I'm practically perfect in every way.
Practically perfect.
So people say, each virtue virtually knows no bound. Each trait is great and patently sound. I'm practically perfect from head to toe. If I had a fault, it would never dare to show. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Ah, lovely. Both prim and proper and never too stern. Well educated yet willing to learn. I'm clean and honest, my manners refined, and I wear shoes of the sensible kind. I suffer no nonsense, and whilst I remain, there's nothing else I feel I need explain. I'm practically perfect in every way. Practically perfect, that's my forte. Uncanny manners are hard to find. Unique yet meek, unspeakably kind. I'm practically perfect, not slightly soiled. Running like an engine that's just been freshly oiled. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Well, those are my credentials. Perhaps you have a few questions?
Not temperamental.
Never.
Not grouchy or gruff.
Oh, the very thought.
Will you stay tender when the going gets tough?
Quite the contrary.
Do you read stories without a big fuss?
Or have objections to playing with us?
Oh, I like games.
We do too.
But I choose them.
But that's not fair.
Some minor improvements may not go amiss, but at all times you must remember this.
You're practically perfect in every way.
I guarantee.
Practically perfect. We hope you'll stay.
No flies on me. Each virtue virtually knows no bound. Each trait is great
And patiently sound.
patently found. Spit spot, Jane, dollhouse, please. I'll take my telescope, thank you.
But that's not fair.
I didn't say I was fair. I said I was. Practically perfect, and here's my aim. By the time I leave here, you both will be the same. You'll be practically perfect. Practically perfect. forward. Spit spot.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. I does what I likes and I likes what I do. Today I'm a screever, and as you can see, a screever's an artist of highest degree. And it's all me own work from me own memory.
Oh, Lummy, not these again.
Come on, Mr. Parkkeeper. It's just me pictures like it always is. There's no harm in them.
I'll be the judge of that. This is my park, and I say you're interfering with the public railing. I want to remove this. Just you watch it, that's all. Just you watch it.
Stay right where you are. I'd know that silhouette anywhere. Mary Poppins.
It's nice to see you, Bert.
Well, I must say, you do look swell.
How does he know you? He can't know you. You've only just arrived.
I wasn't born 1 minute before I walked into your house, Michael Banks. Have you met these two, Bert?
Oh, I've seen him run about chasing a kite.
It isn't a real kite.
So, what you up to?
Mary Poppins says it's a game. It's called a walk in the park. Some game. I'd rather eat spinach.
Come on, Bert. You're due for a break, and you promised you'd take me out when we met again. Or have you forgotten?
Of course I ain't Mary, but...
Oh dear, is that all you've got? Never mind. My treat. And no one's charging for the trees in the sky, are they?
Mary Poppins, is he really coming with us?
Why shouldn't he?
Well, to start with, he's very dirty, isn't he? Father would never approve.
What's that?
You can't come with us. You're too dirty. And we don't want to go to the stinky old park anyway.
Oh, yes you do. Because when you walk with Mary Poppins, she takes you places you never dreamed of. If she says it's a game, she's got something in mind. You can be certain of that.
That's a picture of the park, isn't it? That's not a park. Not our park, anyway. Look, that tree's a much brighter green, and the sky's quite a different blue.
I think you'll find it's just the way I've drawn it. All that it takes is a spark. Then something, plain as a park, becomes a wonderland. All you have to do is look anew, then you'll understand why it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light.
Oh, really?
When the day is grey and ordinary, Mary makes the sun shine bright.
You do talk nonsense,
Oh,
Bert.
happiness is blooming all around her. The daffodils are smiling at the dove.
I haven't the faintest idea what you're...
When Mary holds your
Bert.
hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band.
You've enough brass for all of us.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love. Come on, you two.
Boring, just like other nannies thinking. Parks are good for us. It's just statues, ducks, and grannies. I don't understand all the fuss. Is she doing it to spite us? We could lose her for a laugh. Perhaps it's all a plot. I'll tell you what, she seems so different, but I bet she's not. There is nothing to excite us in the park. What was that?
You're quite wrong, you know.
Who are you?
I'm Nelius. Surely you know that. You've sat beneath me often enough. I've waited half a century to take a walk on a sunny day like this.
Ain't it a glorious day, right as the morning in May?
I feel like I could fly.
Have you ever seen the grass so green or a bluer sky?
Oh, it's may say so, Mary.
Thank you, Bert. And you may.
Each man out with his dog will stand agog to see a statue take a gentle jog. Oh, it's a jolly holiday, Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love.
It's a jolly holiday with you, Bert. Gentlemen like you are few. Though you're just a diamond in the rough, Bert, underneath your blood is blue. You'd never think of pressing your advantage. Forbearance is the hallmark of your creed. A lady needn't fear when you are near. Your sweet gentility is crystal clear. Oh, it's a jolly holiday with you, Bert. A jolly, jolly holiday with you.
Let's go for a jaunty saunter. We are bound to make a mark. Looks like all of us were born to take a promenade in the park. Go for a donkey saunter. We are bound to make a mark. Wednesday's right, all of us were born to take makes the sunshine bright. Happiness is on, fine beaches and features, the daffodils are kind, and the double. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band.
Poppins, of course.
How do you know Mary Poppins?
She's an old friend of my father.
Your father? But you're a statue. You can't have a father.
Well, if that's true, then how do I miss him so much?
Isn't he one of the other statues?
No, he lives far away from here.
Do you really miss him?
Wouldn't you miss your father if you hardly ever saw him?
I'll have to think about that.
That's it. That's it. That's what it was. What? The plate is half empty. The statue is gone.
Do you mean you've lost your marbles?
This is all your fault, ain't it? I knew you were trouble from the day you first arrived, and now we've got a statue missing. What? Oh, Lummy.
Will you play with us again?
Of course I will. I'm not going anywhere.
Then we'll see you soon. Goodbye, Neelis.
Goodbye.
Neelis must be so lonely. Could his father ever come to stay?
Anything can happen if you let it.
How long will you stay?
We'll see.
You won't leave us, will you, Mary Poppins?
I'll stay until the wind changes. Now run along.
Bye, James. Good night, Michael. Bye, Mary.
Goodbye, Bert.
Jane and Michael want to say goodnight.
Tell them you've given me the message.
George, please.
Oh, Dashy, we've had a fantastic day. We sang with the busker, danced with the statue, met Queen Victoria. You wouldn't have approved, but...
If you know that, then why did you do it?
Daddy, could I have a kite? A proper one?
Could you fly it?
You could always teach me.
Now when would I have the time to do that?
Daddy, who is the father of Neleus?
Will you please let me get on? Good night.
Poor Michael. All he cares about is flying kites. His beloved astronomy, of course.
I used to love astronomy at his age. My nanny, Miss Andrews, soon beat it out of me.
I do suppose we need a nanny, George. It is out of the question to do without one.
Don't be absurd. Of course we need a nanny. All of the best people have nannies, so the wives can do charity work and entertain. Which reminds me, how's your tea party coming on?
I'm not sure. It seems so odd sending out invitations to people I hardly know.
But they're people you should know. Remember, by your friends you shall be judged.
But that's the point. They're not my friends. Actually, today I heard from Clemmy Bunting. She's rehearsing a new play at the moment. And I thought I might ask her if
How many times must I tell you? I wish you to spur all connections with that part of your life.
George, I was an actress. Lots of people might find that interesting. Though you always speak as if I should be ashamed of it.
Well, it's not exactly something to be proud of. Winifred, dearest, I'm only thinking of you. I want people to admire you, to respect you.
I know, George, but sometimes it's hard.
It's not hard. It's your job to be Mrs. Banks.
And what is your job?
To pay for everything. What is it?
I was only going to kiss you.
Oh, all right. Are you going to talk to Mary Poppins about this afternoon?
I don't think so.
Very well. Just make sure she's doing things our way, not hers. What good are rules if you can bend them? We need a nanny who is disciplined and stern. With boys and girls, you don't befriend them. I fear that Mary Poppins has a lot to learn.
Being Mrs. Banks should be an easy role, and yet it's one which I don't seem too good at on the whole. I have a comfy home, I have a simple life, I have a name which tells the world I'm someone else's wife. Being Mrs. Banks, now what does that entail? Facing tests of character, I always seem to fail. And as for his best people, well, I'd like to say no thanks. They're not exactly my idea of being Mrs. Banks.
I still feel as if I'm dreaming. So much fun in just one day. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band. I'm sure Neleus is beaming.
Let's hope she will stay.
Good night, Neleus.
Let's hope she will stay.
Winds do change, tides can turn, sink or swim, see what you've learned. Me, I was told when I was small, just learn a trade, so I learned them all. Chim chimney, chim chim cheree.
Morning, Bert. Swabbing the decks today, I see.
Gotta keep the street shipshape, Admiral.
Tell me, how are things aboard number 17? All plain sailing with Mary Poppins, I trust.
There's some rough weather on every voyage, Admiral.
Miss Lark, what those children need is a touch of the cat and a night on the yardarm.
What those children need, Admiral, is a touch of happiness. Willoughby?
Quite sure. And in case you're worried, I've not been exchanged by the fairies for a total nincompoop.
No. Well, I'll just go up and check the drawing room then.
I'd like to be helpful, Miss Brill.
I'd like to be rich, but the good Lord thought otherwise. But she can't have me. I've got enough on my plate as it is.
She says you can tell Robert Snay what to do.
Does she indeed? Well, why don't I go out and have a smoke near the gasworks for good measure?
Honestly, Miss Brill, I don't mind.
All right. I'll give you one task and one task only. And so help me, if you get this wrong, I'll swing for you and sing as they pull the lever.
What is it?
Put the icing tools next to the cake, and I'll need a bowl of hot water to warm them. I will make the icing as soon as I'm back.
Icing tools, cake, hot water. I'll make the icing as soon as I get back.
Now, do you think you can manage that?
Is that all?
For you, yes. For me, no. Once the cake's done, I'd the sandwiches next because Madam wants them fresh. So I can't start them until there's no time to finish them. I declare a slave in ancient Rome was on a pleasure cruise compared to my life in this house.
You don't just stand there, Robert Snay.
Right. No.
What are you looking for?
A bowl for the water.
Michael, why don't we make the icing?
Because we don't know how.
Don't be so feeble. Get the eggs. If Mrs. Brill can do it, it can't be that hard.
Mrs. Brill won't thank you.
Then she will be guilty of great ingratitude.
Is it supposed to look like this?
It doesn't look like that when Mrs. Brill does it.
Don't be impertinent and get me the cake.
Honestly, Miss Jane, I was only trying to be helpful. If you would... Oh!
Mrs. Brill, go up and confess. What have you done? Robert Snay! Robert Snay! Oh, dear, should I call a doctor?
I don't think that will be necessary, ma'am.
How can you be so unkind when you know how important this party is? You deserve some very nasty medicine. Just wait until bedtime.
Oh, I don't think we should wait till then, ma'am. Why not go up and get changed? We'll clear up here, won't we?
But we're not ill. I won't take it, and you can't make me.
In that, as in so many things, your information is faulty. Open.
But it's strawberry ice.
I'm not sure I like strawberry ice.
I'm not sure I care. Open.
Lime cordial.
Now off we go, you two. Michael, I know you like to keep things neat. Jane?
I told you she was tricky. Must we? Can't Robert Snay just when he wakes up? He is a servant.
With that attitude, you'll get through a lot of stuff before you're very old. Besides, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap. The job's a game. And every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake, a lark, a
worker. How did you get them to do it?
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
The medicine?
Go down, medicine, go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way.
So, just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Medicine go down.
Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
In the most delightful way.
In the most delightful way.
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine
Go down. The medicine go down.
medicine go down.
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. In the most delightful way.
Delightful,
Delightful way.
We'll be off now. Coming on, children.
I'm sorry, Mum. Apparently these came this morning and Robertson A. forgot to give them to you. They're apologies, Mum, from your guests. They're not coming, none of them.
Do you think we chose the wrong day?
No, Mum, I think you chose the wrong people.
In the most delightful way.
Mary Poppins, where are we going today? I thought we could play our next game.
What game?
A visit to the bank.
That's not a game. Did Daddy agree?
If he did, you must have put the idea into his head somehow.
What an impertinent thing to say. Me, putting ideas into other people's heads. Really?
An order, cogs in a wheel, opening a ledger, closing a deal, prudent investment, financial sense, a perfect ray of sunshine, of shillings and pence.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning. Great men have dreams of power and position, and it's our job to back them to the hilt. For shrewd investment and advice, they'll pay our price, the bedrock on which banks are built. Banks, a word. I see Ervan Hustler is coming in again today. Have you made your decision?
I believe so, sir.
Good, good. Be sure that it's the right one.
Every transaction, credit or debt, sheets are
On
on
the balance, targets are met.
At banks, what objections can you have? My security is more than adequate, and Latin America is an expanding market. What is the matter? Have you no courage?
But, Mr. Von Hustler, what I haven't been able to grasp is what exactly is your final product?
What do you think? Money, of course.
Yes, money. But I wonder, making money out of money, is that enough?
Are you man enough to be a banker? A man has dreams of building an empire to make his name in many distant lands. And in the new world, I am told, we'll soon strike gold. Let's seize this chance with both our hands.
The market, limit the risk.
There's a room
For error, business is brisk.
A
Have you come to your decision, Mr. Banks? There's a town of good people whose future depends on you.
I know that.
Give us this chance. You won't regret it. The factory could be running in weeks and expanding before the year's out. Please, Mr. Banks, I'd give it everything I've got, believe me.
I do believe you, Mr. Northbrook, and I've tried to find a way, but there just is not the collateral.
What about my workforce? Decent men who want a better life. They're my collateral. My men have dreams to earn an honest living, a wife and kids, a home to call their own. If you'd invest in us today, it paves the way. I promise we'd repay the loan.
I'm sorry, Mr. Northbrook, but I...
Hello, Daddy!
What on earth are you doing here? Can't you see I'm busy?
No, we're done. No man should ever be too busy for his own children. What are you here for, young man? Have you come for some money from the bank as well?
Well,
hardly. What would they need money for?
Well, it's never too early to learn its value. Here.
I know the value of this. 6 pence.
No, that's its worth. Its value is in how you spend it. Do good, and may you have good luck.
And what do you say to Mr. Northbrook?
Thank you.
I'll wait outside.
What is the meaning of this? Really, Mary Poppins, I'm not without a sense of humor.
Aren't you, Daddy?
I am not. But when I was a little boy, I never would have dared interrupt my father.
Were you ever a little boy?
Of course I was, but my nanny, Miss Andrew, kept me out of my father's way, and he would have been very annoyed if she hadn't.
what about your mother?
I don't suppose I saw either of them more than once a week.
Didn't they mind?
Mind? They were glad to be rid of me.
Then, who kissed you goodnight? Miss Andrew?
Certainly not. There were no times for hugs or kisses or all that sort of nonsense. What's the matter?
Poor Daddy.
Poor? What do you mean, poor? That's what made me the man I am. Eh, Mary Poppins?
Yes, I'm afraid it did.
That's enough! You've seen where I work, and I have a great deal to do.
Father, when you invest the bank's money, what do you look for? A good man or a good idea?
I suppose I should say it's a good idea. But a good man is much rarer and much more valuable.
Come along, children.
Mr. Von Hustler, I've considered your argument, but I'm afraid the answer is no.
What? Do you not recognize a good idea?
Perhaps not, but I recognize a good man when I see one.
You'll regret this, Herr Banks.
A man with dreams that life hasn't broken. A man with hopes, ambitions to fulfill. A man you're certain at first glance deserves a chance. Now, Mr. Northbrook, when exactly could the factory be open?
Thank you, sir. You won't regret it.
Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
There's that horrible old woman.
Don't point. And for your information, she's not horrible in the least.
But she's just a bundle of rags.
When will you learn to look past what you see? Early each day to the steps of St. Paul's, the little old bird woman comes. In her own special way to the people she calls.
Come buy my bags full of crumbs. Come feed the little birds, show them you care, and you'll be glad if you do. Their young ones are hungry, their nests are so bare. All it takes is tuppence from you. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, 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 tuppence. Feed the birds, that's what she cries, while overhead the birds fill the skies.
What are you doing? I'm going to give her my sixpence.
What a waste.
That's a matter of opinion. Here, one bag, please. Save your sixpence.
All around the cathedral, the saints and apostles look down as she sails away. Although you can't see them, you know they are smiling each time someone shows that he cares. Though her words are simple and few, listen, listen, she's calling to you. Feed the birds, tuppence a head, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a head.
All gone.
Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
You don't say. Well, here she is now. You can tell her yourself.
Isn't that Mrs. Waxwog, Willoughby?
Don't interrupt when someone's barking. You were saying? Really? Well, if she keeps wandering off, perhaps it'd be best if you kept her on a lead. Willoughby! Ah, look. Here she comes now.
Willoughby! My darling, oh, come here. Come here, it's all right. Mummy's here. Oh, come here. No, come here, it's all right. You know, sometimes you'd almost think he could talk. Come on, let's go home, dear. Let's go. I miss you so much. Oh, let's go.
But can Willoughby really talk?
Of course he can. Getting him to stop is the problem.
How do you learn to talk dog? How do you think? Master the grammar.
Practice when you can.
And avoid mongrels. Far too much slang. Now let's get along. I can't stand here all day talking shop.
Talking shop? What a silly expression.
There's nothing silly about it in the least.
What do you buy in a talking shop?
Conversations, of course.
Well, I've never seen a talking shop.
Well, there's only one, and it belongs to Mrs. Cory.
Who's Mrs. Cory?
Who's Mrs. Cory? Mrs. Cory's older than anyone in the world. She talked to William before he went conquering, to Vlad before he went impaling, and to Alexander when he weren't so great.
We'll have to call at her shop in the park.
There's no shop in the park.
Remember, anything can happen if you let it.
Ah, that's it! I've run out of conversations!
Good day to you, Mrs. Cory.
Oh, well, well, well. If it isn't Mary Poppins, and Jane and Michael Banks.
She knows us?
And how's poor little Georgie?
Who?
Oh, Georgie Banks, your father. He used to give his nanny the slip and come into my shop here in secret.
But that can't have been the same George Banks. That would have had to been 40 years ago. And no one can remember back that far.
Oh, listen, dearie. I remember everything. Oh, I remember George used to love my gingerbread. Oh, I wonder if we have any left now. Annie, Fanny, look lively. Oh, there we go. Gingerbread pieces with gingerbread stars.
Hello, Mary Poppins. What can I get for you?
Well, I did want an ounce of conversations.
Oh, well, I'm all out of conversations. And I'm right out of words, too. Oh, you see, I've had quite a lot of chatterboxes in here today. But let me see what I can find. Oh, I do have some letters and a little bit of back chat. An ounce, you say? That'll be 15 letters. Go on, take your pick.
Jane, you can choose 7.
I got D, G, R, U, C, L, and I.
They're no good. You can't make conversations out of them.
Your turn, Michael. 7 more.
A, F, S, E, T, O, and P.
And I'll choose an X. Now, what words can we make?
Well, I see dog and cat.
Routoplex. That's 9.
Lapidophorus, that's 11, nearly there.
Those don't count, you made them up.
Oh, and where do you think words came from in the first place? Somebody had to make them up.
You know, we can always use the same letter more than once. Now, let's see. Supercalifragilistic expialidocious.
That's not a word.
Of course it's a word. And unless I'm very much mistaken, I think it'll prove to be a rather useful one. When trying to express oneself, it's frankly quite absurd to live through lengthy lexicons to find the perfect word. A little spontaneity keeps conversation keen. You need to find a way to say precisely what you mean. Supercalifragilistic expialidocious, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilistic expialidocious. It can mean exactly what you want it to. When Stone Age men were chatting, simply grunting would suffice.
Though if they heard this word, they might have used it once or twice.
I'm sure Egyptian pharaohs would have grasped it in a jiff. Then every single pyramid would bear this hieroglyph. Oh, supercalifragilistic expialidocious. Say it and bad animals would not sound so ferocious.
Add some further flourishes, it's surocococious. Supercalifragilistic expialidocious. Diddly-lum-diddly, 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 diddly-lum-diddly.
The Druids could have carved it on their mighty monoliths.
The ancient Greeks, I'm certain, would have used it in their myths.
I'm sure the Roman Empire entered the abyss because those Latin scholars never had a word like this.
Supercalifragilistic expialidocious.
If you say it softly, the effect can be hypnosis.
Check your breath before you speak in case it's halitosis.
Yes, supercalifragilistic expialidocious. You know, you can say it backwards, which is sui coduli, persextit siligarpida.
She may be tricky, but she's bloomin' good.
So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just summon up this word and then you've got a lot to say.
Pick out those 18 consonants and 16 vowels as well, and put them in an order that is very hard to spell.
S-U-P-E-R C-A-L-I-F R-A-G-I-L I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-D O-C-I-O-U-S
Smarty pants.
S-U-P-E-R C-A-L-I-F R-A-G-I-L I-S-T
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Here we go.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilistic, 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 expialidocious. Supercalifragilistic, expialidocious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. 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 Here we go. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. The winds may blow, but it's to know exactly what it's bringing. Good news or bad, happy or sad, the pendulum keeps swinging.
Right, now put the steps there and stand back. You are never to come near this vase, no one else but me neither. That is an heirloom.
Heirloom?
And while I do this, you stay totally immobile.
Immobile.
Do not move a muscle.
Muscle?
Do not breathe. Do you hear me?
I might as well be dead.
Don't give me ideas.
A game is played, a change is made, but still the road is long. And though they might yet fly a kite, sometimes the wind's too strong.
George, what's happened? Are you ill?
No. Should I be?
Of course not, only why on earth are you home so early? Is everything all right?
No. Everything's all wrong.
My dear, what is it?
Well, if you must know, I refused some German chap a loan. It seems he went to our chief rivals. They gave him the money, and now it's turned into a gold mine.
Well, they can't expect you to get it right every time.
Can't they? That's exactly what they expect.
Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud
That is more than loud enough. Go to your room.
But we were just
I don't care what you adjust. Upstairs now. Where's my briefcase? I put it here. Michael. Jane. Will you give it to me? Must I put up with this behavior? You're their mother. Why can't you do something?
Well, I can try, not shouting for a start.
Mary Poppins,
You were brought into this house to teach the children manners, and just look at them. They're a pair of little savages. Well, if I had my way, you'd be out of this house.
George,
But
you're tired. Don't bring the children down tonight, Mary Poppins. George is quite exhausted. Perhaps you can keep them occupied.
I hope you haven't forgotten, ma'am. Tonight's my evening out.
What? Oh, I had forgotten. I suppose the best people wouldn't ask you to change your plans.
No, ma'am, they wouldn't.
I thought not.
It's not fair. Daddy loses his temper and we get shut up in the nursery. Daddy's mean and rotten and I hate him.
Take that back. I won't have you criticizing your father like that.
Why not? He criticizes you. Last week he said you were neither use nor ornament.
How dare you?
I heard him say it, and so did you.
Sometimes people say things they don't mean. Take the children upstairs, please, Mary Poppins. George?
what is it?
I thought you might like to talk about it.
What would be the point?
Perhaps I can help.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm serious, George. If you have troubles, I'd like to share them.
Believe me, you will. The fact is, I've been suspended without salary until they decide what to do with me. 'Twists and turns, ups and downs. One moment smiles, next moment frowns. Bad-tempered faces had better change quick, 'cause if the wind changes, the face might just stick. Chim chimony chim chim chari chim charoo.
We get left on our own.
You've plenty of toys to play with.
I don't want to, they're boring.
They might say the same about you.
Why does Daddy get so cross?
Fathers are supposed to look after their children, not yell at them all the time.
Maybe. But have you asked yourself who's to look after the fathers when things go wrong?
The mothers, I suppose.
Not the children.
Wouldn't that be rather upside down?
Sometimes families are upside down. For a while, anyway.
I don't want to be in an upside-down family. I wish I could run away.
Why don't you? Somebody might adopt you.
But you'd miss me.
No, I wouldn't. I could have all your toys.
No, you could not.
Yes, I could, and I jolly well would.
Give that to me.
No.
Now look what you've done.
That's no way to treat Valentine. What's she ever done to you?
She's a doll, silly. She couldn't ever do anything.
That's all, you two. Now into bed at once.
But we haven't had our milk.
There'll be no buts, and no milk either. If you can't be good, you may as well be sorry.
I wish you'd just leave us alone.
Be careful of the things you wish for. Poor Valentine. Go inside and make yourself presentable.
Well, I want to go to sleep, and you can't make me.
In that, as in so many things,
Your information
is faulty. Playing the game, taking your turn. Some children lose, some children learn. Treat the toys nicely, and maybe they'll treat you the same. Playing the game. Are you feeling any better, Valentine?
Much better, thank you.
Tempers are frayed, tempers are lost. Nobody stops to think of the cost.
But they've torn my arm again!
Oh dear. Children who lose their temper will lose everything else in the end.
They're not playing the game, not playing fair, not with the door.
tell them.
What's going on? What's happened to the toys?
Make them go small and get back in their box.
Why? You've hurt them and called them names. Now it's their turn. Summon the toys. Now is the time to tell of your woes, to tell of their crime. Crime. Come one, come all. Enter the fray. They need to hear what you have to say.
Let's go down.
Out my phone. Let's go, Amin.
Those girls and boys
Those girls and boys
who treat us this way
who treat us this way
don't deserve fun.
don't deserve fun, so why should we stay?
They stamp and shout.
They stamp and shout, create such a fuss. They need to know the value of
Well,
You think you know everything.
I couldn't agree more. Jane,
They're our toys and we'll do what we like with them. So there.
so there indeed. Playing the game, having a ball. Those who won't play shan't play at all. Maybe when they've learned to play the game. Is that you, Bert?
Up where the smoke is all billowed and curled, between pavement and stars is the chimney sweep's world, where there's hardly no day, nor hardly no night. There's things half in shadow and halfways in light. On the rooftops of London, phew, what a sight.
Oh, so you're a sweep now, are you?
Best view in the world, eh? And who gets to see it? The birds, the stars, and the chimney sweeps. Nothing to beat it, eh? Now as the ladder of life has been strung, you may think a sweep's on the bottom most rung. Though I spends me time in the ashes and smoke, in this all wide world there's no happier bloke. Chim chimani, chim chimani, chim chim cheree.
A sweep
Is as lucky can be. Chim chimani, chim chimani, chim chim cheroo.
Good luck will rub off when he shakes hands with you.
Or blow me a kiss,
But
and that's lucky too. So you're going then?
the wind has changed.
But they're good kids, Mary.
Would I be bothering with them if they weren't? But I can't help them if they won't let me. And there's no one so hard to teach as the child who knows everything.
So?
So they've got to do the next bit on their own. Chim chimani, chim chimani,
Chim chimani, chim chimani, chim chim cheree.
When you're with the sweep, you're in glad company.
Chim, 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 cheree. When you're with the sweep, you're in glad company. Nowhere is there a more happier crew than them's what sings chim, chim, cheree, chim, cheroo. Chim, chimony, chim, chim, cheree,
Cheerio,
chim,
Bert. Keep an eye on them for me.
She can't have left us.
Oh yes, she can, and she's taken all our toys.
What does the note say?
Dear Jane.
What in the name of heaven are you two doing out here? Where's Mary Poppins?
Gone.
Gone? Well, if I don't take a bloomin' biscuit.
Mrs. Brill, what is au revoir?
Why?
Because that's what she's written in this note. Dear Jane and Michael, keep playing the games. Au revoir, Mary Poppins.
It's French, I know that. But does it mean God bless you or good luck? No, I remember now. It means till we meet again. Now, come inside before you two catch your death.